Welcome to Speaking of Jazz with Manny Kellogg, and in association with jazztribe.news. Now let's get started.
Well, jazz lovers, hello, wherever you are in the world, I'd like to welcome you again to this podcast, my show entitled Speaking of Jazz, and I'm your host, Manny Kellogg, and we're heard every week on all of your podcast platforms. Today, I am so honored to have the fantastic lady. She is when you start thinking of female jazz vocalist, the lady that puts the S in scat, she's an educator, she's an actress, she sings all over the world. She sang for President Obama. Check that out. And I call her my big sister. We work together. We've known each other for years. I'd like for you to please welcome my guest this week, the incredible, the fantastic Miss Azure McCall. Hello, big sis. How's it going? Talk to us.
Yay. I'm doing good.
How you doing?
I'm so good. I went and swam yesterday for a couple of hours.
Okay.
That was wonderful. I'm going to go again maybe Monday because I'm working this weekend.
Very good. Very good. Well, we have been knowing each other now for probably some 8-9 years, and I have never really had a chance to sit and just chat with you for a minute and really get to know my big sister. So what I would like to know, I'd like for you to share with the guests, if you don't mind, and our listeners, where you're from and how you got started. What are some of your influences? So I want you to feel free and talk to us and take your time.
Okay, well, one of them was probably my first one was my daddy. My daddy was a pianist with the Art Tatum style, old school.
Yeah.
And so I just grew up listening to all the records. We had the hugest record collection in the world. And then about third, fourth grade, I started playing violin.
Okay.
I played violin till 7th grade, where I met Miss Benny Jean Gillette. It's my voice teacher at Westlake Junior High School. I was born in Berkeley, California, y'all, Herrick Hospital.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think my birth was probably the first group of interracial being born at that hospital.
Fantastic.
Yeah, right.
But I know where I met you, but our listeners really don't know. So let's tell us about your Hawaii.
I was born in Berkeley. I want everybody to know that I was born in Berkeley. And at 22 years old, my husband and my 2 children, we moved to Hawaii, where I stayed I'm still there kinda, some odd 45 years. And I still call it home. So I'm back and forth still. So I worked over there a lot. It's a very inclusive place for musicians of all music, which I really loved. And I got all my music, got my sea legs over there. I worked over there a lot.
Very good.
10:30 to 3:30 every night. And then I'd get up and take my kids on their paper routes in the morning.
Okay.
Then I go to bed.
yeah, dig it. You gotta have some time to rest.
Yeah. Then I get up and go swim at the beach every morning. Yeah.
Well, I know you've worked with a whole lot of people. You've been all around the world singing. Why don't you share with us some of the artists that you have worked with and working with right now?
Okay, well, probably my greatest working accomplishment was when Takao Ishizuka walked into a club there I was singing at one night from Japan, and he said, "I record you tomorrow. Same band, no overdub, same, everything, nothing changed."
Yeah.
So we went in there and we did 12 tracks to DAT, and he took the DAT and went straight to record. Little did I know his next door neighbor in Kona was Ray Brown, the great bass player. Used to be married to Ella Fitzgerald.
Yes.
I went to him and he said, "Look, I have a new singer I just recorded. Would you want to take her on tour?" And Ray Brown said yes. And he took me to Japan for 6 weeks with Joe Lovano, Kareem Riggins on drums, of course, Ray Brown on bass. Jeff Keezer was on keyboard. We also had Nicholas Payton. And since Nick was late on another gig one night, he couldn't make it. We had Conti Condoli for a night.
All right.
That was pretty amazing. And so I did that. And then that was my first CD. He took me everywhere. And then when I came home, I was fortunate enough to work with Frank Morgan, who lived there. His father was Stanley Morgan from the Ink Spots. So Frank lived there with his family. So I knew Frank. I worked with Frank for a long time. And then Freddy Hubbard started coming there. And every time he came there, he hired me as a singer to sing with the band. And sometimes he used some of my local band.
Okay.
So that was pretty fantastic. And then when after I was with Ray, I went in Sweden with Henry Gibson and his wife and worked with Houston Person, Tito Puente, Maynard Ferguson, and in Sweden.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was like, I could hardly talk. I remember when I was with Ray, and he was so generous and such a good musician. And he said, sing another A section, baby. And I was thinking, here go my theory that I don't know. So I remember, I'll give you a quick example. I was doing Clear Day, forever and evermore. He said, do another A section. And I'd go, on a clear day, rise. He said, do another A section. I say, on a clear day. Because since he was married to Ella Fitzgerald, Azure wasn't going to scat. No. And that's what he was asking me. He was so generous like that. But he said, girl, you can really sing. But, when I came in, I learned to scat a little bit.
That was I'm gathering from what you're telling us, that was a great working experience working with the great Ray Brown.
One of the most amazing of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he taught me what I always wanted to know about a ballad. I didn't know how to express to the band how I wanted the ballad to be played. And he taught me what two was, just two. He said, look at the bass player and say two. And I remember the first time I exuded my power and I told the bass player, playing two. He said, da-da, 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 da-da. And I said, I really don't know anything about music to articulate what I want to say to you. But Ray Brown said two was bump, bump. It was just 1, 2. And I remember he looked at me and he said, oh, Ray Brown said. I said, well, yeah, that's what I told you in the beginning.
Yeah.
But it was me, the girl singer. So, but when I told him Ray Brown said. So that was wonderful. And then I worked and I got some awards for a couple CDs, Album of the Year, Singer of the Year in Hawaii. It was really beautiful. And in about 2006, I got a big job on the Big Island, working at the Waikoloa Hilton. And that's where I met you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember people were sitting out there. People were sitting out there with umbrellas.
Yeah, because I had stopped working at the Waikoloa for a couple of years, and I was working at Duke's Bistro.
Okay.
Luke's. I'm sorry, and it was inside and outside. Remember? And when you came, yes, it was raining, and people were sitting out there with their umbrellas in the rain.
And I mean, it was, just to say the least, there was a lot of people. It was packed and people had their umbrellas up, checking out the vocalist. I dug it
because you had driven 2 hours in the rain to get there with Dave Watson.
Sure did.
And I remember you asked me, you said, well, when are you here again? And I said, next week. And you came right back the next week. And you said, would you be interested in going on a ship? And I remember running home because I lived 1 block from the club. And I brought back a piece of paper that I told you I had written down. And I said, God, I wanted to go around the world and sing this music. And you looked at me and said, God sent me.
Amen.
And in a month, we was gone.
That's right.
In a month, I was on the ship with you I remember we went straight to the Baltic and the Mediterranean and the Greece and Spain and Finland. And that was another greatest experience of my life, just to be able to sing 5 nights a week from 9 to 12. All the rest of the time was mine. And I remember our first cruise, you took me to everything. You got to go see this. You got to go here, see that. You took me to everything. And then after that, you said, okay, you're on your own.
After that, I didn't go nowhere. You got it. And to this very day, I don't go nowhere. I just sit there and do nothing.
One thing, though, we did do when we were in England, where were we? What station were we at? Our ship was
Southampton.
Southampton.
Yes.
And when we got there every Saturday, we jumped off that boat, jumped on a cab, and went straight to Harvey Rumstead's to get some fish and chips.
We couldn't wait to get there.
Harry Rumstead's.
Harry
yes.
Rumskin. Harry Rumskins.
Harry Rumstead, which is mashy peas.
Boy, those were the days. Every time I see Southampton, I think about those days.
Me too.
And I haven't had fish and chips like that since we were in England.
Let me tell you what happened 2 weeks ago. I was in Las Vegas. And I was at the hotel, and it wasn't the one that had a lot of food because I was at a hotel by my gig. And this girl said, you gotta go and get fish and chips. I go over there, they're straight out of Southampton.
Really?
Yes, and the fish and chips was exactly like in Southampton. They had the long skinny one that we used to get called the haddock, I think.
Yeah.
Got cod, and it was that big. And the chips, and the guy looked at me and he says, I know you don't want the smushy peas. And I said, right. And it thought about you. But if you go to Vegas, there's a place.
You have to hit me to it. Not in a little bit. I want to know where it is.
Okay.
I love my fish and chips, and I haven't been able to find them since then. Well, I'm having fun. I'm just sitting here laughing and talking with you. Now, I'm going to ask this next question because I know you can't share everything with us. But what are some of the most funniest things and stories that you can share with us that you can share now?
Okay, now this is a good one. I'm glad you asked me. Back to the first tour to Japan. I'm living in Hawaii already years and years, so I know the Asian culture really well and all that, and I know what kind of food they have and stuff. But my friend, local Hawaiian girl, half crazy, I think, we packed a whole suitcase of food.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had cookies and chips and everything from Hawaii. So I'm dragging 2 suitcases behind me. Everywhere we went, up the alleys and on the buses and everything. And all the guys had a suit bag. The drummer had drumsticks. And anyway, I was dragging my suitcases through the alley. But on the buses, all the band wanted to eat out of what I had in the suitcase. So it was kind of funny. I learned how to pack after that.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah, I was dragging 2 suitcases over Japan for 6 weeks. It was funny because they were breaking and falling apart. And
yeah. But that's some funny stuff, when you really look back over the years of our travels and try to put a lot of stuff together. You just really say, man, that was some funny stuff that happened then, And I know a lot of stuff. People ask me to say the same thing, to share some stories. And there's some stories that I can share, and there's some stories I can't share. And there's some stories I done just totally forgot about. You know what I mean?
I bet you, I don't know if you remember this, when they had that huge, we hadn't been on the ship long, but it was our week on the ship to eat up all the restaurants, just have fun on the ship. And then they had that volcano in Iceland.
Yes.
And Mr. Fain said, nope, we going to Iceland. And we went and picked up like 2,500 people.
We sure did. I remember that.
We gave up our week's party for the crew. I thought that was fun.
That was nice.
One of the funniest times was when we had the All Gay cruise. That was funny. And I remember the captain came down. We were all sitting every night. We used to go over to spaghetti. And the captain came down and he said, y'all believe in the Bible? And we said, yeah. He said, let's pray. Because the ship was rocking so hard.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. But those are some good old days, though. I wouldn't give anything for those days.
Me neither. And our Jazz on 4, every night was so amazing.
Every night was packed.
Every night was packed.
It was packed before we even got in there to perform.
Yeah, it was packed. I remember the one time, though, we did have a piano player that fell asleep on us on stage when we was playing. That was funny. And he kept saying, Ash, calm down. You're getting too jacked up. And I just walked around there to the piano player and I said, but Manny, he's asleep.
We won't mention no names, but I know who you're talking about.
Lord have mercy. And we thought, well, maybe he's just playing the wrong changes. He was playing gun, 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 because he was asleep.
Going over there, his head was down.
Yeah, that's funny. That was a funny thing.
Well, I'm going to jump in here real quick and remind our listeners that you are listening to Speaking of Jazz, and I'm your host, Manny Kellogg, and I'm coming to you weekly on all of your podcast platforms. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just email us at speakingofjazz.guest@gmail.com. That's speakingofjazz.guest@gmail.com. Be sure to leave your details and all your information, and I promise you I'll get right back to you. And with that being said, I'm going to move right along because I have the singer in the house today, Miss Azure McCall. And Azure, let's continue. I want to get on down to what are you currently doing? Are you doing any recording now? Are you got any tours planned? Can you share that with us?
Recording, and I don't want to express that yet, but I've been recording for about a few months.
Okay.
I've just been going on different days and doing things. I just came back from a little mini tour in Vegas, which was fun, with some Hawaiian brothers and sisters, which I love, Jesse Gopin and Wayne De Silva and Ben Redfield and a couple of people that live there now. I went there for a birthday party and they turned it into a little mini tour for me.
Very good.
Now I'm back and working on some other stuff. I'm still teaching at the California Jazz Conservatory online and just doing a couple workshops in person, not too much.
Yeah.
I'm still a little nervous.
Let's talk about that. What you nervous? What you nervous about? You being nervous?
COVID.
Oh, mercy. Okay, I dig it.
I don't live a life of fear, but I'm very cautious.
Yes.
That anything anybody tells me, it's gone today, it's back. It's gone today, it's back. It's like a little bit too fast.
Yeah. I can dig it.
1,000 people died, but today you can take your mask off. It's like.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And so I just kind of stay in my lane with that because it seems like everybody I know is all of a sudden a doctor. But I did think of something else that was really funny that we used to do on the ship when we first got on the ship. We used to rise up out the pit. That was pretty fantastic. I remember the first time I came on there, I was like, wow, this is like, when I was a little girl, I used to watch all the Busby Berkeley movies and all the singers. And as soon as they'd start singing a lot, then everybody would come up out the pit. The dance. Yeah. That was pretty exciting. That was funny. And you are a Grammy Award winner, but you went from, depending on the night, you went from 5 to 10 Grammys.
That's right.
Announcer, again, no names.
Yeah, seemed like I was getting Grammys out of everywhere. Like you said, depending on the night. I know that you have performed all over. Tell us, want to share with us or tell us about your performance at the Blue Note. I really want to know about the Blue Note.
Well,
I've played the Blue Note, so I want to know your experience at the Blue Note.
Well, my first Blue Note was in Roppongi with Ray Brown.
Okay.
And 10 years later, I'm thinking, God, I wish I could get a call for the Blue Note. They built a Blue Note in Hawaii. So they called me there and I flew in and everybody came out. It was so wonderful. They brought lays. I used local musicians, except of course the great Tennyson Stevens was with me, and piano. And it was so nice that I was there in July. They invited me back for the holiday season, and I went back again with the same support. It was just amazing. It was amazing. And the last 6 months here, I did Martin Luther King, and May 5th, I've done Yoshi's here in Oakland, which is another amazing spot. I think they have the best sound.
Yes, they do.
Place I've ever played. The sound is, the team there is so amazing. It's just a good gig.
I love Yoshi's.
Yeah, the food is good too.
Yes, it is.
They use real.
Don't get me to talking about the food now, because I get hungry. You know what now? You the lady that puts the S in scat. Now, you know I'm gonna ask you to do this. You gotta scat a little bit for us. You gotta give me a little bit. Come on with it.
Oh boy.
I was gonna ask you.
She did let it bit, she let it bop, boo boo bit, she did let it be bop, she let it bop, to let it boo boo bitty boo 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 boo.
Oh, what do they?
Don't set it straight. It's not the time when you wait. You gotta be on. You gotta be strong. The time is here, so trust your life to your ear. Yeah. Don't wait for no one. You gotta go on and play me. I just have fun with it. I don't think I'm that good or anything. I just don't care if I mess up, and I'm just gonna have a ball with it.
Dude, sometimes I try to scat. I be done bit my tongue start bleeding. You said just go ahead and scat with what you playing. I do that. I be to bit my tongue and everything.
But you be going. I sent you another video of Theodis Rogers to your Facebook of him scatting and saying, Azure McCall forced me to scat one night.
I saw that. Now that one I saw.
Yeah. And I think you're playing the piano, you're playing all these things and these inversions and all this stuff. I have no idea what you're doing. I know you can scat. I like rhythmically, I can scat because I like, what you're playing, Manny.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I try it, Azure, and it just won't work. Like I said, don't ask me to do no more because they won't work.
But I don't even get that because Clayton Cameron?
Yes, I do.
The drummer. Well, yes. I met Clayton years ago with Sammy Davis Jr. in Hawaii. Right. We opened for Sammy Davis a few times. And he's a tap dancer like Sammy. So they can say this what they playing like that's what he does. That's what I learned from Sammy.
Okay.
And still today for fun, I'll do that to give the drummer the vibe I want. We used to do that.
Yeah.
Hand drums on the, what was that, Invitation?
Yes, one of my favorite tunes.
Yeah. And I learned that from when I wasn't really scatting. I learned the rhythmic part. And then I was working with a piano player that told me, oh, you just modal.
Just what?
Modal.
Oh.
You're the modal scale. You just modal. You can scat everywhere and do everything. You'll come back. And I was like, you're right. Because even if I get lost, I just do like this. And then I come back in when I hear something.
You do that to this very day. I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was just looking at, you did something on The Nearness of You, and you just went like that. I was mesmerized. You just came right back in, like it was never missed. I love it. You know what
that reminds me of? I don't know I normally get the guys wrong. I don't know if it was Miles Davis and Charlie Parker. I don't know who it was, but Miles Davis, I think, was the one that said the other cat says, man, I just don't know what to, when to stop or what to blow or something like that. And Miles said, man, just take your horn out your mouth.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. If I'm doing something and I'm not sure, just stop. It's okay. Wait a minute and come on back in.
I do that when I'm playing. If I don't understand where it is, you'll notice to this very day, I'll just back off.
Yeah, and you'll just play sock and keep the tempo.
You understand it. You understand.
Sure do.
I just get out the way. Ray Charles said, stay out the way. I never forgot that. Never forgot that. Well, you know what? I know that you're a mentor, you're an educator, and you're a vocal coach. What advice can you give to other up-and-coming musicians, writers, and arrangers?
Wow. Practice and listen. You got to be able to listen. You know, I have a piano player that I work with a lot now, sometimes named Spencer Allen. He teaches chemistry and math and biology. But he always says, you know, I know all the ninths and the tenths and the 11th and the 12ths and all the beautiful chords and stuff. But my thought is to make the music sound good, not to be fantastic. So sometimes for me, I just want to make sure I'm singing pretty, you know, so I notice a lot of young people today don't listen. Like we used to listen to So What? So what? So what? So what? Bling ding dang. Right? As we like kids almost. We thought we was something.
Yeah.
Kids hear it one time and then they want to sit in and play through the changes. But they don't know the feel of the song, you know, so I just really believe that people really need to give a good listen. And for my lyricist friends, you don't always have to sing a song. Sometimes recite the story, because you can't tell a story you don't know. And another thing is that stop reading the lyrics on the stage, practice at home. Come pay $10 to watch you read nothing.
Yes. Speak it.
Unless you're in a big show and you're doing originals, or you're with a big band or orchestra, you might need your charge. But to go up there and sing Fever? Oh, I got to tell you a funny story, Manny.
I'm listening.
On the ship's TV. And there was this girl, and she was singing, and she was, of course, holding her computer, and she was singing, talking about lyrics. And she said, all my life I had a friend. His name was Jesus. I was thinking, wait a minute. And so she did it again. He's been the love of my life all my life. And his name is Jesus. And I was thinking, wait a minute. Are you really reading Jesus?
One name. Can't remember it. Yeah.
On TV. This is a TV show.
Really?
So I really believe that if you practice and get the story, it would tell singers, writers, everybody. Because you can't tell a story you don't know.
That's right. As Miles Davis said, you can't play what you don't know.
That's right. And sometimes you don't know.
I truly believe that.
Yeah.
You cannot play and sing what you don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I got one final question for you.
Okay.
And I want you to put on your seatbelt.
Uh-oh.
And this is one to think about. What is jazz to you?
To me, it's a lifestyle because it's all about improvisation.
Okay.
So to me, it's one of the most, like God, is absolutely constant, like energy. So to me, it's just the energy of love, life, and God. And it really is improv. If you can improv, because you got to improv in everything.
Yeah.
Nothing is as it seems like it should be or used to be and all that stuff. You have to. So that's what it is to me. It's my breath, as the Hawaiian said. It's my breath.
Yeah.
It's really constant, like God to me. I can't even imagine not being with it or having it in my life.
Well said. Well, jazz to me is, I'm going to say, again, a freedom of expression.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to just be free and play but you want to play, but not in the way. So it all can continue. It can go all the way around. It can keep going. It can be whatever you see it to be at the time. To me, it's a freedom of expression. Being able to enjoy the music and play in
Absolutely.
That's the way I feel. That's the way I look at it. When I sit down behind the drum set, I try to involve myself in the piece, and being able to be a part of that, what everybody else is doing, and express myself in my playing. That's the way I look at it.
And I like that, what you say in mine and yours both together, but also I just really love it. I mean, I just have a fun. I don't think you should even do stuff if it ain't fun.
That's right. That's right.
And it's just so much fun that I think sometimes jazz musicians take it a little bit too serious, because people say you make it look easy, now make it look fun too.
Yeah. How I always say, have fun with the music, but take it seriously.
Absolutely.
That's the way I look at that.
Yeah.
Well, jazz lovers, there you have it.
Yeah.
With that being said, we have had a wonderful day today with the vocalist extraordinaire, the Queen, Miss Azure McCall, the lady that puts the S in scat. Yeah, you heard that. Dig it.
You scat one for me, Manny. Come on, you can do it.
That's about as much as I can give you. Anyway, folks, we got to let you know this the show is being brought to you by Daryl Craig Harris, Music Matters, and Nigel J. Farmer with Jazz Tribe News. And it's all being made possible by those people. And I appreciate the show so much. And again, you're listening to Speaking of Jazz with Manny Kellogg. I'm your host, and I'm coming to you weekly. And we can be heard on all of your podcast platforms, iHeart, Spotify, and all them places. So just check us out. And again, if you want to be a guest, just email me at speakingofjazz.guest@gmail.com. With that being said, God bless you. And I always like to close my show with saying, keep swinging and God bless. Thank you, Azure, for joining us. And I hope to see you again sometime and enjoy your gig.
You're so welcome. I'm going to say one thing too. I want the audience to know, my jazz friends, not fans, that I only think of you on 2 occasions, day and night. Aloha.
All right. Love you, sis.
Manny. Love you too.
Thank you for your time. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show and thank you for keeping jazz alive. Don't forget to follow us on our social media channels. All the links are in the podcast description.